Well, it's really nice to be at home, especially this time of year with finals. The kids, the 2 games prior to finals, being at home. That's a really big factor for the kids as far as preparation, and also their sleeping habits during these times is not great. I mean, they're trying to prepare, and how they cram at the last minute like we all did. So I think it really benefited us to be at home, or the 2 games before finals, and now these next 2, as soon as we finish finals, hopefully they'll have the weekend to rest up, and then we'll get to play the 2 more at home before we hit the road. So that's really positive. I feel great about the 2 wins that we had here before finals. East Carolina is a really good team, and that's a game that even at full strength we knew would be a difficult game. Being down a few kids, I was really, really proud of what we were able to do in that game, both with our starting group and our kids off the bench. The Kent State game, we just didn't play as well against Kent State, and our bench, which is very young and very inexperienced at this point, it wasn't one of their better games, and I think that's what we're going to find, is we need to find some consistency from the bench. And right now, as young as they are, that's one game that's pretty good, and then one game that's not very good, and so in this game against Kent, I didn't feel like we had a lot of positives off the bench, and so we played a lot of kids a lot of minutes, and in the end of the game, we needed to press in order to come back. We were down 7 with 2.5 minutes to go, and so I had to really press, and I didn't know how early we would be able to do that and sustain it, because we were playing kids so many minutes. So very, very relieved and happy that we were able to pull off, that win in the final seconds over Kent State. It's nice to be in this position, 5-3. After finals, we have 5 more non-conference games, and love to put a few more wins together here.
Would you say they responded well to urgency? I mean, against Kent State, like
well,
that one?
I think what I think about this group is they're very resilient. I mean, when you think they might be down and out, they just don't fold, and I think they've really matured, especially our senior class. I mean, I can remember when they were sophomores and things weren't going well, they'd come in off of a timeout and be like, kind of griping at each other, and this isn't working, and you're supposed to be there, and why? And now they just sort of sort through it, like, it is what it is. This is what happened. We need to correct it, but we don't need to dwell on why that didn't work very well. And the other thing I've really talked with them a lot about is that our games aren't, we aren't going to just look like poetry in motion out there. I mean, we're going to grind through the games, and we're not going to have games where we just walk away with a 20-point win. All of the games are going to be a grind, and they need to be okay with that. I think if they're mentally prepared for it, and in the Kent State game, where at halftime, one of the girls was like, this would really cost us. This loss would cost us. After beating an East Carolina, to lose to a Kent State who's really trying to rebuild would be a bad loss for us. And they were talking about that, and yet they didn't ever panic. They just played through it. And I didn't ever see them kind of throw their arms up like, what are we doing? So we were able to, hit some big shots down the stretch. So the word I would use to describe this group is resiliency. I mean, we were down 10 at Eastern Michigan. We didn't end up getting that win, but had a pretty significant moment when one of our kids went down with an injury, and the game was stopped for 20 minutes, and we were pretty much in shock, I think, at that point. So we were on our way to a comeback there, tied it up, had been down 10, and I see that out of these kids, is that they just keep plugging away, and they're very resilient. Yeah, I mean, the girls are talking about that. They feel like it's, so we're trying to protect this place, and I've never really been a coach who's put a lot of stock in where we are. It's tell them, just like that old movie Hoosiers where they measure the floor and measure the basket, and they say it's the same here. I think you'll find it's the same here as it is at home. But there's, you know, a comfort to playing at home, and then there's this, you know, stigma to trying to win at home and protect our own court and all of that. So, you know, they're very focused on not giving one up here at home.